Alright, so this corresponds to 6.1, evaluating expressions. And the way we evaluate these is we're not going to need our calculator, is by going from the form with rational exponents to radical form. We can move back and forth. This will be review. Rational exponents form to radical form. And remember that the function family we're studying right now in this unit is the radical function family. So we're just going to do several examples to practice. Rather than write out the formulas for the rules, it's just easier to look at examples. So we'll just do several together. For example, if I have negative 125 to the 1/3 power, those are that's a rational exponent, because you know rational is ratio, which means a fraction, and the exponent is a fraction. It doesn't have much meaning until we convert it into radical form. The power is the number on top. This is raised to the first power, which doesn't change anything. And on the bottom number in the fraction is the root. So that basically means negative 125 raised to the first power, and then the root is the cube root. And that's so that you can see the 1/3 right there. Raised to the 1 power and the 3rd root. And so it's a little bit guess and check. The numbers will be small enough. What number, when you multiply by itself 3 times, gives you 125? 5, right? 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125, and we need it, it's going to be negative. So you can do roots that are, you can have the root of a negative number. As long as it's an odd power, you can have a real solution to that. So the answer is negative 5. Let's try this one. 81 to the 1/4 power. So what's the power? Good. Power is to the first power, and the root is the 4th root. So you might try 2 at first. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 times 2 is 16. No. 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27 times 3, 81. Yes. Now, a little bit interesting though, it's not just 3. What else could you multiply by itself? Negative 3. So it's plus or, good, it's plus or minus 3. That simplifies to both. Both of those will work. Let's try this. 4 raised to the 5/2 power equals, so what's the power? Good. 4 raised to the 5th power, that's going to give us kind of a big number if we do that first, so I would rather do the square root first. The order doesn't matter, so definitely make the number smaller first. What's the square root of 4? Good. So do 2 and then raise to the 5th power. And 2 to the 5th, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 32. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. You're multiplying 2 by itself 5 times. Let's throw something a little bit different in here. Let's try 9 to the negative 1/2 power. Okay, little thing that's different is you have a negative exponent. So how do you make a negative exponent positive? You take the reciprocal. The word is reciprocal. That means you put 1 over the number. So you go 1 over 9 to the positive 1/2 power. That's the first thing. You don't want answers with negative exponents. And then 9 to the 1/2 power, can you do that without writing it as a radical? What does to the 1/2 power mean? It just means the square root of 9. I'll write it. It just means the square root of 9. Why? Because there's an invisible to the 1 power and then square root that you don't even need to see. We don't write those numbers, right? When you say the square root of a number, you're saying to the 1st power and square root without even putting those numbers there. So the answer is? Nice. And we just have 2 more examples because this is the easy section, and then we step it up after this. So 81 raised to the 3/4 power. The power is? That would be an obnoxious number, 81 times 81 times 81. So we would rather do the 4th root first. So the 4th root of 81 is going to be either 2 or 3. Okay, it's 3. 3 times 3, 9 times 3, 27 times 3, 81. Then let's cube it. So what's 3 cubed? And do not say 9. Do you know how many times I see 9? 27. 3 times 3 times 3. That's what an exponent means. And the last example, we'll do a nice, fun, easy one. 1 to the 7/8 power. What would 1 to the 7/8 power be? Yeah, it ends up being 1. You could take the 8th root of 1 first, and then it's just 8th root of 1, and then raise it to it doesn't matter, you're going to get 1 in the end. So that is a wrap.